another one that we haven't talked about yet this week, but we talk about them every week. It feels
Every
like,
week, yeah.
and that's of course Tesla, because Elon Musk has been buying the stock. Last week, he apparently bought $1 billion worth of the stock, and the stock has just had one of its best weeks ever. It's up 20%. In the past week. I think it was trading around $350, and once that news hit, the stock has jumped to over $420 today. So
And it's somewhat close to all-time highs, right? At these
yeah,
prices?
it should be very close to all-time highs, if not. The all-time high might be as
Around
high as
450?
450, yeah. But
Oh.
it's, $1.36 trillion market cap. That's pretty close to all-time highs. Um, yeah. So I have a lot of thoughts around this because, what's the reason Elon is buying $1 billion worth of Tesla stock? So he owns 13% of the company, and $1 billion worth of the stock at a, $1.3 trillion valuation is minuscule. It's like 0.08% or something like that. It's like significantly less than a tenth of 1%, right? And they have this vote coming up for his $1 trillion pay package, which is more than 100 times. If if the stock goes up 7x, it would be worth more than 100, 120 times more than the number of shares he's bought last week.
Mhm.
So that's how much his compensation would be worth. So there's like literally no reason to buy such a minuscule amount of Tesla stock for him. But there is this vote coming up where people are going to be voting on his comp package, and shareholders are going to be voting on his comp package. And the deadline for like apparently when whether or not you get to vote is whether or not you own the stock on this past Monday, if I'm not mistaken. So I could be wrong about that. If you happen to know, let me know if I'm wrong about that. But is it a coincidence that he just happened to buy them right before that deadline? So he owns another, slight percentage more, where obviously he can like vote his own shares according to Texas law. It's a weird coincidence at the very least. It just, the optics on it don't look good. In the past, when he's bought the stock, like his last purchase was in February of 2020. He bought $10 million worth, a tiny fraction of what he just bought now. But the next year, he started on this massive sell of Tesla stock that led to him selling over $40 billion worth, or 400 times more than what he had bought. So, if a similar sort of thing happens, he could be selling hundreds of billions of dollars worth of Tesla stock in the coming years. And people are so excited about this $1 billion Tesla purchase, which just blows me away. That like, why are you so excited? He just sold over $40 billion worth. He's asking for $1 trillion pay package. He owns 80 billion dollars worth, close to $200 billion worth of Tesla stock. Why is this $1 billion getting so much excitement? I don't get it.
Right. It just seems like this really isn't news,
Well,
like,
it's certainly not enthusiastic news for the company or the stock, and the timing of it is very suspect. And
but do you think, I agree the timing is suspect, but does he even need to own these shares to win the vote? I would assume no. Like, I don't think it's,
no, probably not. Yeah, no, but you never know if it's a close vote. He's
there's
probably
no
like
way.
people who are selling are more likely to be no voters, right? Like, and he's turning those shares into yes voters. So, you know,
Yeah.
you never know. Um, yeah,
That's
and
true.
the narrative on it is that there's only one reason CEOs or company executives buy the stock, and that is that they believe in what the company is doing, and they think that the stock is undervalued, and therefore that narrative is playing itself out, so that he's more likely to also hit hit the targets that he needs to hit. So it's a weird acquisition for sure, like of extra shares. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm curious
Yeah. It's
what you think
also,
about it.
I mean, I don't like how messy it all is. That's my general feeling. And I own Tesla stock. It's, I think, like 1.5% of my portfolio. I don't have any plans to sell right now. I don't have any plans to buy more either. Um, but I just don't like, I don't like the messiness. And
What do
I'm
you
just,
think of the fact that Tesla is about to invest in XAI at a like ridiculous $200 billion valuation too?
um, I haven't really thought much about, there's too many unknowns because like I don't know what XAI is going to turn into. Like
Right.
if I'm betting on Elon, then it's going to be the next greatest company in the world, right? But like I'm not going to say that definitively, like many
Right.
others would. There's a lot of competition in the space. Uh, I guess in theory, I like having exposure to XAI where other people necessarily don't, but I
So
don't know.
in the past few years, the execution of Elon has not been the greatest. The car sales have been down for Tesla. Tesla's sales growth has been basically non-existent. So this year it'll have less sales than it did last year. Last year I think its sales were like flattish compared to the year before. Um, on the X AI front, OpenAI is like destroying them, right? Like, and he's like riddled in lawsuits, trying to stop his competitors through lawsuits, which he always has despised his entire life. Is like people trying to slow him down using lawsuits, and he's now trying to slow his competitors down using lawsuits. The promises just continue to uh, accelerate on robotics. Tesla seems behind Figma and others, especially the Chinese companies. By the way, the Chinese robots just
Yeah, the Chinese companies are insane.
those robots look like they might take over. I'm very worried about them. Um, and yeah, and like the company that has been doing the most impressive things has been SpaceX, and its timeline has definitely slowed, right? Like they were on this cadence of rapid launches with Starship. It looked like Starship was going to be on a path to actually, like by this point in time, doing some missions to space. In fact, they had a like moon mission planned for this year that like everyday astronaut was going to go on, and like all of that got canceled. I mean, there's been a lot of misses on execution for him over the past several years, and that just seems, you know, I don't know, like it's definitely like on the negative slope of Elon's
How much do you
career
think
path.
of that is due to him being too focused on the government side of things and political side of things? And do you think that will maybe turn around now that he's not as focused on the government
Well, it
stuff?
seems like every other tweet or post on X is, if not every post on X, is still political. So I don't.
But
The
he's not
problem.
working in the administration anymore.
No, but like the
Whether
problem is that he's taking such public extreme stances on things that is turning off both sides of the spectrum. And what happens is, talent is distributed pretty well amongst Republicans and Democrats, left, right, whatever. And he's essentially limiting his talent pool by like having people leave his companies because they don't like his political stances, right? So that
I
is
bet,
definitively happening.
regardless if it's a good thing or a bad thing for him, I bet that he's viewing that as a feature in
Oh,
regards to
yeah.
like he wants
People,
people coming in that do not care about politics in that way, where they're like too,
or they
one-sided.
agree with his politics. If you don't care
Sure.
about politics, you still might be like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? He's like taking such extreme positions.
Right.
And uh and you know, like right now he's talking about defending ourselves or be murdered as the choices. You know, like, and what is defending your? You know, like we have to go fight back or be murdered. I think those were his exact words, if I'm not mistaken. So, what does that mean? Like, is he encouraging people to do violence? Like, and what is a guy who's like his entire existence has been about like extending humanity and like accomplishing these impossible missions, talking about fight back or be murdered, saying like what those words don't just it just seems like there's a massive disconnect. And does the world's most talented people want to work for that guy who's saying these things? And not just, I mean, that's just like one example in the past week. I mean, if you just go back over the past year, the number of examples of extreme positions is kind of crazy. And uh, it's easy to take offense at the stuff that he says. And I suspect that the talent is not wanting to be there. Um, and you know, as opposed to, you know, going somewhere else, right? Like
Right.
there's all these other companies that are trying to accomplish similar types of things. Um, yeah, I suspect part of the slowdown might have to do with the access to talent for him, and it's really unfortunate to see because I've been like such a huge fan of his and his companies, and um, I'm bummed. I'm disappointed. You know, I want to see all of those things happen, but it's just like I don't know if Tesla's going to or Elon's going to be the one doing it anymore. So anyway, it might be the end of an era.